How are you doing out there? First things first, my name is Kenneth Bird. My company is Ileg Technology Screens. Take this fan off in here. Shoe off. Hide his fish so he stays out of trouble for a minute. I'll put his fish over here. I'm probably dealing with this thing right now. Alright, so I am going to one of our other locations, which we are going to be pretty soon. Oh, I'm yawning now. Advertising our AdTech technology, and you're going to use AdTech in there. AdTech and the IOEG Ultimate Apex Gamer will also be used in that environment also too, because I'm planning to do some really big screens in some of these environments. Also plan to have this technology on a couple of different sites I want to be at, which I was planning for last year, but we just didn't get around to it because I want to be show up that technology in different environments. And what I'm thinking about too on top of that is the opportunity to be able to have the Apex Gamer and other environments besides the office, because we had an office that could open over 1,000 times. I'm going to have it other places too on top of that. It's going to come in great because I want to show the screen off in other environments besides what we're in right now. I also want to do more demonstrations on the ultra short throw projector we have over there. That screen we have over there is temporarily. That surface, I don't particularly like it too much because I got the surface. It's different from the other company. The surface that we had over here for the ultra short throw and at the bottom of the screen, the bottom of the screen didn't have the issue. But this particular surface, I don't know what it is. It bends like really, really fast. It's not as sturdy as the other one. The other one was much more sturdier. So this one actually bends too much. So definitely not going with that company ever again, because again, the surface wasn't sturdy and we got corners that were dented and damaged and stuff like that. It was just a headache altogether. So I'm just going to leave that company alone. But I do want to do more demonstrations on the ultra short throw while we're in the process of putting up the new screen, which is going to be the fish tank using the SFEG FLEX, which now we're going to be using a flexible surface instead. Flexible surface is easier to ship. It's lighter, you know, it's a much better panel system. Let's see. I already have plans already into taking our screen and putting in other environments. Definitely want to get a bigger portable projector set up for the Apex. I'm definitely going to have the Apex, like I said, in multiple stores where we can show up on much larger levels. And this is what I mean by at the end of the day, that when we have people who are jealous of our work, because we're used to it, we go through it all the time, and we can show off our technology in multiple locations, and they can't do that with their products because, again, products don't work. They really don't. And you got to darken environments or constantly turn out lights, which I seen in 2 different demonstrations with that screen paint. I saw the church, dark environment, and I saw whatever that thing was, some kind of school or whatever it was. They literally had to turn lights out in the demonstration near the screen. That is a bad thing to do. Never ever turn out lights anywhere in any environment when you're doing any type of demonstration, because it clearly shows that you're having the same problems that their screen's having already. That's a bad idea. You gotta start turning lights out. Not good. So we're gonna bring small monitors in when we do these demonstrations. We want to show that the monitors do match screens when we're in these environments, which we don't see. I've never seen that in any demonstrations and no trade shows, expos, never seen an actual TV monitor next to a screen setup, ever, in any demonstrations. So we're going to start those. We're going to bring in monitors and set them right next to our stuff, or use the monitors they have in their environments next to our screens. Now the reason why you don't see these in any demonstrations is because the black levels, the screens can't read the black level. The last thing they want next to the screen in there is a TV in there where the TV can read a black level, it's not going to go well for them. That's why you don't see them in any demonstrations. We're the ones going to pave the pathway to start doing those. And yes, there will be challenges underneath those things. Just like right now, we got plans to rent out a couple of parking lots. We're going to be putting screens right in the middle of a parking lot at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, like we do in the park. Some big screens, and we're showing like crazy stuff like sharks and octopus and stuff swimming in water, stuff like that, mermaids and stuff. Buddy's going to get a chance to play around with some of his projector mapping technology, which you can use now in the daytime because of our stuff. One of the problems you have with the projector mapping applications is the fact that you can only use it at night. That's why you only see it at nighttime. Majority of the time you see that those displays are at night. But that technology allows you to read in the daytime. So imagine alone what we're going to call it what it is. We got two different versions, the Flex. We have the AdTech, and then we have the one we call the Flex. And the Flexes can, and even the AdTech can operate in daytime. So that means people have projector mapping businesses. That is going to be a huge, massive benefit for them. So on top of that, we want to do a couple of demonstrations out there on football games and stuff like that, movies and stuff out in the middle of the parking lot. So that'd be pretty cool because, again, tailgating parties, all that stuff, you're going to be out there in the parking lot of the football arena. You want to make sure that screen's going to read 100%. And this basically cuts down on the crap of worrying about having expensive projectors and all that stuff. My buddy right now with the 3D printing company we're working on outer boxes for these projectors. We can customize, build outer boxes for your projectors. Outer boxes for projectors are super expensive. You've ever seen what they cost. So this is stuff we're actually building all around AdTech. And these are going to be AdTech boxes, by the way. The projection screen boxes. Those are pretty cool stuff we're working on AdTech. AdTech has so many different applications. But as for the Apex Gamer, it's going to be in multiple locations pretty soon. So, again, as I said before, for the individual who calls himself doing a review in a dark apartment with an overpriced projector, yeah, we're in a well-lit environment with a projector costs 60 bucks. And that's the same machine I'm going to be using when I go on site, is that projector over there. I'm actually getting another one because that one has a stand on it. It's a little bit heavier for the stand. But I am going to be picking me up another one, and roughly I'm getting it for roughly around $80. So, you know, it just goes to show when we go through this, it's the jealousy of people who are just mad and bitter because their product didn't go that far, that they didn't get a chance to do what they're supposed to do. But first things first, if you got a great screen, either way, you can't do that. There's no way in the world you're going to be able to pick up the contrast level. I don't know what you're telling your customers. I don't know how you're selling this to your customers, but you can't pick up a contrast level. I don't care what you have on that machine. You just can't read it. So that's why we're going to do more and more videos called the ultra short throw contrast test. This is for customers, for you to turn your lights on, forget what they say. When they tell you that you have to, no, forget it. You're having an ultra short throw setup. It's supposed to operate in a full lit environment. Turn all your lights on and do a star field. I'm going to put a link below where we get the star field from. Get the link, do the demonstration, and see if your screen is pulling the contrast level. It's not the projector's fault. People want to blame it on the projector. There's nothing wrong with the projector. Projector works perfectly fine. Our projector has a 4,000 to 1 contrast. It can read off 4,001 contrast. It can read off a black screen. Our black screen. Can't say about anybody else's black one. Our black screens. So that right there, that settles it all right there. So we get that whole, well, you gotta have a certain projector. You gotta have, you gotta pay the money for this and pay the money for that. It's a bunch of hogwash. That, my friend, is a bunch of hogwash. Now, in my corner over there, my projector, as I said before, cost me, my projector cost me $60. That's what it comes with, $60. I gotta go repair that guy real quick. Use a repair job. Not him. The other guy fell off the table. He got broken. Yeah, well, I got you. Run back in. What are you doing? Now, what I want to do is, since I've worked with gray screen paints, that's how I first started my company with gray paints. We are going to make a gray screen paint for ourselves that is going to be a free ingredient, and we're going to use some basic simple products that we can get off Amazon or eBay, and we're going to use this gray paint to represent gray paints. Now, there's some people may be saying that no, it's not going to be the same as mine. Technically, yeah, it is. And again, the black and white mixture is pretty much what they call the YouTube paint. So that's how it all started. It all started with the black and white mixture. That's it. Where's my whatchamacallit? We got nothing here at all. Jeez. Nothing here. Nothing over here. Comes from the organizing stuff, putting stuff up, and you can't figure out where we put things at. So organize everything. Constantly organized. I like my place that's I'm working. So I got a vacuum under this chair. But anyway, so we're gonna make our gray paint. Now, as I said before, gray screens don't read the contrast level, and we need a gray screen to bring on site. The gray screen, really, we're never going to see on off site. You don't see white screens all the time. So we're going to do two types of screens. We're going to do an upgrade version of a white screen and an upgrade version of a gray screen. And we're going to be using in the gray screen silver mica, half silver, a half and half, which is going to be a white paint, and half silver paint with 2 scoops of black, because that's how all the paint's made. That's why I said the ingredients we saw in the demonstration, it's called the YouTube paint. That's literally how the YouTube paint was made. 2 scoops of black into white paint. That's the YouTube paint. That's all it is. Same thing. And when we make this product, this is a product we'll give away for free. That's selling this. Why would I sell great paint? It's absolutely pointless to sell it, because unless you can show there's a difference in between the product, like we did with the Digital One 2.0, it literally has a demonstration test that's unmatched. We got the demonstration test sitting there right on one of our sites. It's an unmatched product. No one's been able to do the demonstration with a gray screen. But anyway, you have to show a difference. So the big thing is, what is the difference between that? So we need to have this on site so we can show why the gray screen is an obsolete screen. I'm going to be setting up two sections over at a different form site, and in this form site we're going to be in there showing off why gray screens don't work correctly. Now, as I said before, if you're a person who feels really strongly about the decisions that we're making here, this is what you do. You basically sign the contract and you take us to court if you feel that what we're saying at the end of the day is completely false, and the gray screen does work with ultra short throws and long throw projectors, and it does read 100% contrast. You just pick it to court, it's not a problem. Put all the paperwork up, we'll show up. But mind you, if we do a counter lawsuit because we're wasting our time, because we're busy, this is going to cost you some pennies. I mean, some dimes, nickels, some thousands of dollars. It's going to cost you a lot of money. So just be prepared for the counter lawsuit. Now, as I said before, we're going to make our own version of a high-end gray screen paint. More than welcome to show you how well it matches, and buy a name brand product, lay it against it, guarantee it matches. So, let me see. So then, while we're doing that, because I want to have that on site, when we do certain places, we want to be to show these sites off online, so you can see that this stuff doesn't work. Gray screens are an absolute obsolete product. It is. It should be considered to be a budget screen. There's no way a gray screen should ever be costing $60. It's not even worth $60. It's roughly worth maybe, well, depending on if it's able to beat the gray paint. If it can't beat the gray paint, then it's worth less than the gray paint, because you can do a better job. You just buy the gray paint from off the shelf. As for the certified screens, they're not worth no $1,500. There's no way in the world. I'm spending $1,400, $800 for a gray screen. Are you kidding me? You can match that stuff with house paint. There's no way in the world I'm paying that kind of money. That's insane. Match with no problem. Whew. I do not understand that one. I even seen white screen paint going for $300. I don't even know. I don't even want to think about that one. It just boggles my mind about that one. It's white paint at the end of the day. It's like a white screen. People spend all this money for expensive white screen. A white screen does the exact same thing as a white sheet of paper, white t-shirt, white bed sheet. I would do the same thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a marketing campaign and maybe that's it. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. I think that's the best way to do it. And in that way, this makes it interesting because then when we put this free product out there, for those people who make these great products, you'll have to go against this paint. The customers will have a little leverage, which they need because you guys are lying to them left and right. I've read the specification sheets. You'll do nothing which y'all claim they'll do. Excuse me. So with this free product that we're using for testing, but also too that they can also use to show that their product doesn't match it. And this is far worse than basically sliding something off a shelf. This is an actual gray screen paint product. And if you want to ask me at the end of the day, any one of you, where's my experience level in gray paint? Trust me, I can embarrass you really badly on YouTube. I know quite a lot about gray paints. My stuff is, a lot of y'all check y'all backgrounds and see exactly how far you went with gray paints. We were a lot farther than you guys were. A lot farther. We made far more products than you guys did in gray paints. I had far more beta testers, customers than you guys had. And I've been around longer. So I know quite a lot about gray paints. More than you think. Enough to be able to look at someone's paint and match it to a house paint. And then have them do it and still match the paint. Yeah, we know our stuff. But anyway, we got to get a name for this product. We're giving away for free. Because technically you shouldn't be paying that kind of money for gray paint. It's outdated. There's nowhere in the world you should be paying 60, 70. You shouldn't be paying $100 for this. You shouldn't be paying anything close to that at all, period. You can make it for free. And we showed you that one. You can make it for free. Even the people, if we send them that paint, they're not taking that paint and doing that demonstration. They're sending it right back to us. There's no way in the world they'll send it to us. I've actually spoken to a few people on eBay and sent them messages. We never got a reply back. Ask them a simple question. What's the difference between your product and house paint? Never got a reply back. Of course we're not going to get a reply back. It's not a match. Well, we're making our version because we'll get all FOMO and upset. Oh, no. We're making it to put against our stuff. Your stuff isn't good enough. So I have to make an advanced version for mine to play around with because your stuff is too easy. I need a challenge at the end of the day for my stuff. So I have to make my own. But while I make my own, that ingredients will go out for free. Meow. Are we speaking about something? Always talking about something. Anyway. If you look in the black on black demonstrations, which we have an entire page dedicated to, and you guys don't have this on your website, which clearly shows your stuff doesn't match house paint because we're the test to show that it doesn't. You will notice that one of the videos, we made 3 different individual black paints to put against our own product. We made these, and they didn't match. We've given people permission, and they couldn't do it. So with that being said, you're supposed to have that test. You're literally supposed to have those tests. Again, if I'm buying your product, where is the guarantee that I'm not getting house paint? Where's the guarantee that I don't know that you slid something off a shelf and you put a little Christmas glitter into it and you just sold it to me? How do I know what you had? Where's the testing at? That's what we need to know. This is why there are several things when we're doing. We challenge companies next year. One of the challenges is that how much testing is on this stuff? How much this stuff can match hobby paint? Anything you could buy gray off a shelf. Bed sheets, fabrics, films, paper. What does your stuff match this stuff? Where's the proof? That's one thing right there. Another thing is the fact that you constantly have a habit of saying we see black. You don't see a black level. And if you're depending on the projector to do this, this is even worse. Because that means that you still don't see black. Because you're depending on the projector. If you see black, why would you have to depend on the projector? If you're actually seeing black. So what you're saying is that you come close to a somewhat black level the more money you spend on the contrast capability of the projector itself, which means your screen does not see black. It depends on the projectors and how much it costs and how high the contrast is in order to produce it. Therefore, you can't say your screen sees black. You have to say that the projector reads a high black level, and the more money you spend on the projector, the better chance you have of reading black. But technically, even though if you spend lots of money, you still can't see it. I got a friend of mine that got a JVC. It's a $100,000 projector. The contrast level is bizarre. It's insane. He can't get it to read off a white screen. It's read 100% black. Yeah, $100,000 machine that looks like a small mini refrigerator, and he can't get it to read 100% black. He said, that's impossible. Who says this dumb stuff? I said, you'd be surprised the idiots I walk into from time to time that are that dumb. That stupid. That will actually believe that. Now, I'm not talking about people every day. I mean, I've had people who I've met who supported his mess and basically sat there and said on camera, oh, it reads black. You want to walk that into a courtroom? So here's the difference. When someone's on YouTube, they'll talk trash. When you mention courtrooms, lawsuits, they shut it down. They get quiet. Because they know they can't back it up. They're just a dog on the other side of the gate barking. That's all it is. Open up that door, that dog is as quiet can be. The minute we mention, let's go to court, quiet. Nobody says anything. No one wants to talk. Because nobody wants to go to court. We made a fool of losing money. At the end of the day, get embarrassed. And out of that, the liar. They don't want to do that. They do it on YouTube. So, that's why we have a habit statement saying sign the contract, see us in court, because we know they can't sign the contract. And they'll never see us in court because they can't back it up. So with that being said, we're going to be going on location with the ad tech. We're going on location with the our Apex Gamer. We'll be taking the customized special gray screen paint with us. And mind you, this is a challenge behind this product. We're challenging all gray screens, even certified, to go side by side with this new gray product that's free. Now, for those of people saying at the end of the day, well, it's not being a bully at the end of the day. You're a liar. You're lying to your customers. You're stealing from them. That's what you're doing. You've got to tell them the truth. You got to say, look, it doesn't pick up a contrast level. What shade of gray? If you get caught in a courtroom and they say, okay, you don't pick up contrast. What shade of gray do you actually read? Do you even know that? Do you know the actual shade of gray that you pick up? The other fellow didn't know his color of his own paint. He said all of them were gunmetal. Already having them and documented. Every single screen paint, it can't be gunmetal. You know what gunmetal is? Do you even know the term of gunmetal? Do you even know what gunmetal even looks like? You buy gunmetal in a car, it's not light gray, it's not charcoal. It's a very, very dark, kind of a bluish kind of color, kind of dark gray. Almost looks black. Don't even know what gunmetal is. We're so free with the word, oh, it's gunmetal. No, you don't even know what gunmetal is. And before any screen paint can even take the title of saying they are gunmetal, you have to go against the physical gunmetal technology itself in order to say that. You can't just say that. What happens if you go into a form site and somebody actually has a black diamond in there, or they got a zero edge in there, or they got one of those high-end screens in there, and they have gunmetal technology, and you're going to go, oh yeah, my screen paint has gunmetal. No, it doesn't. That person's going to sit there and say, no, there's no way in the world I spent $3,000 for this screen. And you're going to tell me you're going to come here with some screen paint. Again, they always, they feel that physical screens are more advanced than screen paints because they use a form of a surface design. There's no way in the world. You're going to be no way in the world. How are you going to match your screen when you don't even have a 2.0 gain? You don't come close to a 2.0 gain. And that screen has a 0.9, 0.8. They got really high gains on those screens. They're not beating that screen. It's not going to happen. Yeah, the gray paint is backwards. It's so backwards. They make them lighter because they figure it pulls up higher white levels. But when it pulls up higher white levels, you're basically diminishing contrast. And in contrast, you're definitely going to need a color level involved with contrast. The black involves a color level. It involves dark colors, which you can't read. But we'll explain all that when we're on site. We got a bunch of people watching the demonstrations. We're going to be doing it at expos, trade shows, that show why gray and white screens are an absolute fail when it comes to your projection setup, and why it's no point in basically investing. The only screen I can see right now investing is white screens. Why? They're cheap to paint over. They're cheap to paint over. You go out and you buy, do the research for yourself. Go out and get yourself, go to Amazon, look at a gray screen versus a white screen. A gray screen is going to cost you an extra $100, extra $200, depending on the make and model, what it is, than the white screen, because they consider the gray screen to be an upgrade. But it's not. So, with that being said, you're going to pay all this money for a screen just to paint over it. You might just go get the cheapest screen you can get, which is going to be a white screen. So, a white screen has value. It's worth painting over. A gray screen is not worth painting over. You spend all that money just to paint over something. Get the white screen. Do it that way. So, what purpose does the gray screen have? It doesn't even have a purpose. It doesn't read on anything anymore. At one point, it did work, and it doesn't work anymore. Because now you got black screens now. Now you got gunmetal technology now. So where does the gray screen stand in that? You got a white screen, you want to upgrade it. Where are you going to go? You go to gray screen, what's going to happen? I bet you $100. This cup right here will match your screen paint. I guarantee you. The same color as your screen paint. It'll match your stuff. Look at this. If I hit that with a projector, and that's literally painted with a screen paint, I bet you that cup blends into it. Mind you, in a demonstration, my cat blanket matched his screen, a cat blanket. And the other one he has, which is the one laying over there, pulled up a better color than his screen, because it's a little darker. Cat blanket. But anyway, as I said before, the gray screen has no purpose. Projector mapping requires black. You have to have black. How am I going to project black out of a projector mapping if I don't have a screen that reads black? It's not going to work. DJ applications. Everybody giving DJ parties with black colors that pull in the background. They don't work on gray screens. If you have white screens, are horrible. Movies. How are you working with movies? Anything on the screen that comes up in black, you won't work. Gaming applications. You don't work on that either. If I'm playing Warhammer, how am I going to get those black contrast levels to read? Oh, that's going to be so embarrassing. We got the new PC coming in we're working on right now. That basically easily runs Warhammer with no problem. Besides, I decided to go with the, I was going to go with the 3050 RTX. I got a 5050 RTX, so I ordered that one instead. I like that one better. But anyway, so how in the world are you going to pull Warhammer on my PC, my gaming PC / VR system? How are you going to basically play Warhammer on that? On a gray screen. You don't work on that in my PCs. Doesn't make a difference on the type of graphic card. It can be a 1050, a 1010, a 1020, 1030. It'll make a difference. It won't read on it. An RX 580 won't read on it because it can't see the contrast. All right. Movie applications, gaming applications. What about outdoor? Well, outdoor is an absolute definite no. If you can't run inside, you're definitely not running outside. If you can't read contrast in, you're not reading contrast out. That's not going to work. Or do you work with ultra short throws? Heck no, you don't work with no freaking ultra short throws. I've seen that too many times to count on so many levels. Every time a contrast level comes to either be an influencer's video or whether it be that guy's video, you always turn the lights out. Why are you turning the lights out with a screen with a 2.0 gain? Why are the lights even out with a 2.0 gain? Some of y'all have 3.0, 4 something, 5 something. You got the lights out. Why are the lights out? Oh, because the colors wash out. The screen actually produces better when it's in the dark. Oh man, I'm going to blow this theory wide open in the courtroom. I'm dead serious. I'm going to take all this theory nonsense, bring it to court, and challenge it. Blow all this stuff through the roof. What's the other thing they don't? Y'all don't work on ultra short though. Pico projectors? No. We've done this one too many times to count. Y'all don't work on Picos. What about venues? I've had dozens and dozens of venues. You don't work on any of those things at all, period. That doesn't work at all. So we got Picos, venues, what about ultra short throw? I had tons of those too. I got one sitting on the floor in front of me right now. It won't work. The ViewSonic can't read on a gray screen. It can't read the contrast level. And that thing has, what, 22,000 to 1 contrast sitting on it? The Pico has 10,000 to 1 contrast. Neither one of them can read. So you don't read on any projectors at all, period. You stand a high risk of matching a house paint, which is not much of a guarantee for the customers. You can't work on site. If you're in a dark apartment all day long or a dark environment, how would you work in this environment, which is my office? How could you work on any commercial environment? You can't. So bottom line is, It's a product that can't read 100% contrast, which is a big request, a big requirement of screens, and it can't read the white level high enough next to a white screen. So what good is it? It can't read dark colors. It can't read medium colors. It can just read the light colors. That's it. So pretty much, it's an obsolete product. So if you went out and spent the money for a gray screen, especially if you spent one that claimed to have an ambient light rejection technology attached to it, you got ripped off. I had a friend of mine who had a gray ambient light rejection screen. I never laughed so hard in my life. I said, what the heck did you get that thing for? He said, oh, but it reads good contrast. That's not even contrast, that's gray. You got a black Corvette outside. You mean to tell me you can't tell the difference between a black Corvette and that thing sitting on your wall right now? That's pathetic. You're wearing black right now. So if you're wearing black, how in the world is your screen not the same color as the outfit you have on? It doesn't match in any way whatsoever. Now, again, like I said, we can walk in front of screens and get to, that's why you have to have that test. The black on black test, you have to have a gray on gray test. But anyway, your screen can't read it. I don't care how much you pay for your projector. So you're telling me that if I buy a gray screen, I'm going to have to spend a lot of money on a projector to get it to work? What's going on here? So, we're going to make our own special blend. And we're going to basically take it on site. If we get one person, it's a free ingredient anyway. If we get one person that says our stuff won't match, we'll buy your stuff, take it on site, and show you it matches. If you want, you can make it yourself. Make it yourself and do a live stream. Make sure the stream is all live. Make sure that when you make it, everybody can see it, because everybody can see it at our end. They can tell whether or not you put something in it that's wrong. Can't tamper with that stuff. It's out there. It's going to be out there. So we'll show you that not only you don't have to buy gray screen paints, you can actually make your own. And again, there's no testing underneath any of this stuff. I've never seen any testing on the gray screens. They have no way to back it up themselves. Meanwhile, at 180 to 150 inches, the AdTech, and also not AdTech's not at that size yet. The Apex will be in multiple locations, in multiple stores. All the stores that we have now that's going to display the AdTech will now be displaying the Apex next at 150 inches in commercial property, which is a cakewalk for us. Projector you're going to be using for them at the end of the day, because the projector is fantastic for them, will be the Chrissy LW400s. They're very affordable projectors. They cost us next to nothing. It's $4,000. We don't need it. We're going to have all projectors sitting in eco mode because it's not required. We don't need it. So we'll have them at 2,500 in eco mode. And they have the lens shift, which makes it easy for us to mount it and to right to the wall and be done. So they're going to be doing promo demonstrations on it for like what they're selling in the store and do their YouTube videos and stuff right off a giant screen. So, yep. There you go. See? Already the technology is going to be in stores already. Whew. Now, this is where it gets a little hairy for us. What are we going to charge? Because we charge a certain price for online. But remember, offline we get more money. So that has to be a road we're going to have to cross pretty soon too on top of that. There's a lot of changes coming up. You know, it used to be that our screen paints would be, just on YouTube and that'd be basically about it. But now change is different now. Now we have AdTech change the game. AdTech gives us access to places we couldn't get into because of what it does. Once we put a screen in there, we can fire up through a window and they see that. The first thing they ask us, what else you guys got? Because they know we make other stuff. But we got these giant screens that we can put right up on your wall. I got 150, 200, 300 screens. Really? And how much the projector's going to cost me? Like $50, that's all. Have them come right down to the office. They can see the same projector, that giant screen sitting on the wall. This is exactly what your screen will look like in your environment. Oh, all right, I want one. There you go. That's it. That's it. That's all it takes. No, well, we're in a dark environment, but it looks good. It'll look better once we calibrate it. They don't want to hear that crap. In a dark environment as it is. Can't convince me at the end of the day to buy your product. You're going to stick me in the same dark environment I just literally just came out of. I don't even know how that even works. So, I'm going to put that giant screen in. I have to schedule an appointment for few people to come in and check out one of the other screens too. We got to get the floor finish top up. I got to move this stuff. We'll get our screen cut before with the floor done. But we got to wait for that P. We got to build that PC because we need that sensor system to run too. That sensor system's not just for my VR. We got two of them that are going to be running through that PC. One's actually for the floor and the table. So we need that one done. Got to get my machine finished. As a machine that's more than just video games, it has the ability to do interactive technology with the Ileg and also with the Apex. So then, I'm going to be doing more and more demonstrations on YouTube, challenging customers to ask questions. There'll be a list of questions you should be asking anytime you buy any type of projection screen setup. This is going to put a little pressure on you, those who sell. But keep in mind, you've been riding that gravy train for a very long time, and you have not beefed up or haven't even gotten ready for any new technology. It may come past your way. That's the one thing I respect about screen innovation. They're always making something, always making something, always ahead of the game, always ahead of the game. You guys, on the other hand, get lazy. Y'all get lazy, and y'all get comfortable with the same stuff. Y'all been selling the same great screen product for 10 years. And yeah, I'm going to show you how fast that stuff can get wiped. How fast. We can literally make our own great paint. You know, do the same thing your stuff does and give it away for free. If I really felt your stuff was a threat, why in the world would I give it away for free? Why would I even testing it for my own product if I thought your product could take us out? I can make an advanced version of your own stuff and send it right back to you. And you wouldn't even accept it. You would send it right back. I guarantee it would come right back to us. Like the other guy did. He sent it back. It was an advanced version of it sitting in that container. It was actual real version of it 2.0. How it should have been made. Metallica 2.0 should have actually had Metallica in it. And you guys couldn't even pass that. And for some reason, well, that guy thought that our stuff was made with white paint, silver mica, and black paint. Y'all don't know jack. Nothing at all. What you thought, what the white paint was supposed to do? Oh, the white paint was supposed to bring out the white levels. That's what you thought, right? You're so far behind. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing, Jamie. You don't know what you're doing. No. White paint? Silver mica? What was the water for? I could never understand why they kept putting water in their paint. A lot of water in their paint. Oh my goodness, that's horrible, man. Y'all don't know what you're doing. Y'all playing around with people's money at the end of the day. Y'all don't know what y'all doing. That's why I asked y'all to make the paint. Go ahead. Gave you the opportunity. I got to post those videos too. Gonna post them. Make the paint. And y'all failed twice. They failed. They came back and thought it was newer paint. It don't make a difference what black you choose. How you get the white levels to read? You can't get it. You don't understand it. So the biggest thing, one of the things I see is white paint. They drop white paint because they figure white paint's going to bring up the white levels. Oh, that's such an amateur move. Noobs do that nonsense. What was a mica supposed to do? So, excuse me. So you thought that when I'm watching a demonstration, I'm saying, like, oh my God, they figured it out. Please. That's why we have all this testing done. The testing shows that our product does something that no other product does. That's what makes it different. Testing. You don't have any testing on your stuff. We have testing. So in order to say you have exactly what I have, you're going to have to go in and basically do every single demonstration we did under that product to prove you have what we have. And you can't do that because you don't do testing yourself. So with that being said, you don't have my product at all, period. But I will be taking you to court on that and challenging that if you do make it that far. I don't know. He's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. Trust me, we're never going to see him. Once the last of these reports go in and we get a confirm on a pickup, we're never going to see him again. That's the end of that. So, ain't no point in that and this, that, and the other. There might not be no point sending him a letter because this could be happening sooner than we think. But other than that, yeah, white paint, that's funny. You guys are sad. Really sad. Anyway, as you can see, if your products were good, you'd still be around right now. And you'd be doing what I'm about to do, which I got to go to 3 locations today. And I'm going to be getting ready to map out their walls to see what type of screen we're going to put in. And it's in a fully lit environment, which I like to play. I love playing in fully lit environments. I love it. Love it. But I do know that the price of that technology is going to change because we get more for it out here. A lot more for it out here. Sorry about that, but that's business. I need another one of these right here. That cap off right there. What are you doing, Bear? Bear, come Bear. You don't want to watch. You want the Christmas music on? You want to watch your Christmas music? I wonder why. Oh, Sponker Donker, Sponker Donker, Sponker Donker. What you see what I got you for Christmas, baby? I got you something cool. Like stuff that moves on his own. Got you something. This time I'm getting chargers for that sucker, so we can charge your batteries. So, 2026 for us, it's going to be an amazing year. It's going to be a year that we get to launch a lot of crazy technology we've been working on and planning. And it's going to be a year of conquer, which means that screens are going to be challenging you left and right, showing that your stuff does not function, doesn't work correctly, not telling the truth in specifications, especially these great screen paints don't tell the truth in specifications, cheap at all, period. And it's going to be a day of judgment too, because a lot of people got in a little trouble. And you're going to be going, court dates are going to be popping up left and right. You're going to be getting summits, you go to court, but you violated my company and we're going to sue you. And whatever happens after that, that's between whatever, criminal charges, we'll see where it goes from there. But other than that, most likely you're definitely getting sued. I got to find back that lawyer on top of that. With that, now I got to do some demonstrations on the ultra short that we have over here in a fully lit environment, as it should be. And we're going to be redoing the screen because, like I said, that tile system, that panel system, I don't like that company. It's too flimsy. That thing bent 4 or 5 times when I was trying to put the screen up. Not doing that stuff anymore. I'm getting it from the old company, much more stiffer, much more rigid. Definitely going with them. I'm going to redo that for the time being. And then once we get ready, order the bookcase, set up the flex system up there, get that ready because I got clients coming in to see the fish tank and different setups and visible technology I'm doing. And then we show up that part too. Man, I'm glad at the end of the day that technology over there is completely portable because, man, it makes it so much easier. The fact we don't have to have big bulky projectors with us when we go from A to B, take the little projector right there, a battery pack unit, that's all I got to take, and I stream it off my phone. I got 2 phones, so I stream videos off my phone. That's it. That's all I take with me when I go do my demonstrations from store to store. That's all I got to take with me. That's it. Yeah, because the ad tech made it easy. When the Lord blessed us with that technology to read in that direct sunlight, you're talking about inside a store, that's a cakewalk for that technology. It used to be outside in the middle of a park somewhere. That's all I got to take with me. That's it. When they see the size of the projector, they be like, oh, because they got bigger projectors than that thing at the end of the day. Like, what do you want? 300 lumens, that's all we need. We'll do the demonstration. If they have like a back area, like a patio back area where they want to put a screen at, just take that screen, stick it out there, boop, pop up right outside. How many of you guys can do that? If you got a job right now, a contract job that came up, and they've requested for screens inside the restaurant, fully lit environment, screens in the window, and screens in the back of the building and the patio area, and they need that screen to operate at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, can you do it? And the question is, no, you can't. That's what I mean by at the end of the day, when the ad tech launches, you'll become obsolete. You won't be able to keep up to the screen's performance level. There you go. I just answered your question right there. You can't keep up with the ad tech. Or flex. So the more and more people who see that screen operate outside, the more and more people are going to come to you and say, hey, look, the guy got this screen, he's operating outside, can you have the same thing? What are you going to say? Can't lie, you get yourself sued. That screen doesn't fire up. It's got to do the same thing ours did. I think it's a front and rear technology, so you got to know something about invisible technology to do it. Well, that means you can't compete with it. And your customers are going to be asking questions like, hey, look, I want to use my screen because it's going to change the game. People are going to expect screens to be able to run at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, at 3 o'clock, at 4 o'clock. They're going to expect it because that technology is going to change the game. So they're going to expect for your screens to run at the same hour as that one runs. And you can't do it, which means you're going to lose customers. That's what you're literally up against. Customers are going to expect better. And instead of you taking your time to do your research and work hard to develop better technology, you got lazy on your old products. Now you missed the train. You're too far behind. That's why they're scared of the ad tech and Apex. The Apex does stuff this screens can't do. When customers come to them, they want to now have ultra-short projectors that fire up in fully lit environments. They want to see 100% contrast. They want all that stuff now. Because we showed them something better. And then they come to them and ask them questions like, hey, I want to see this. And that's not possible. But the guy's doing it right there on the YouTube channel. Now, the minute they say that that's not real, you have to bring them over to Mr. Bird. I would like to talk with them. You can come down and see it for yourself. Or what we can do is we challenge you in court on that. And I bet you $100 we get in that courtroom, that screen fires up and does exactly what it does in every single demonstration I do. You're going to owe me a lot of money. So if you don't think you want to tell your customers it's not real, you come see me. 2 ways we can do it. I can send you up a sample and see it for yourself, or bottom line is I'll take you to court and I'll clean your cloth. It's up to you. But be careful what you say out of your mouth. Be very careful. Now, can I say your product doesn't work? Of course we know it doesn't work. You can't read a contrast level. How the freak is it working? I don't even know how you're selling this stuff to begin with. It doesn't read a contrast. When the gunmetal first popped out, that's the first thing. When you saw that dark screen pop up, that's the first thing. That was the first red flag to tell you that it's time to change your stuff. That's the first thing you saw. The first time I saw a black diamond, how dark that screen was, that's the first time I saw it. I said, oh shoot, we got to change your stuff. Because your screens are producing this dark, this technology coming out this dark. We got to be prepared to handle this when it comes. Y'all didn't do that. Because the fact that when the certifieds came out, they were super expensive. So you figure, hey, look, people still buy from us. People can't afford that high-end screen. It's going to basically buy from us. Which is true, which did happen. People between the haves and have-nots, this is where you get the separation right here. People who have can buy higher stuff. People who don't will buy the gray screen. It's a budget screen. But now you have a black technology that raises its head. And a black technology can take out the certified, take out the gray screen, take out the white screen. It can take them all out and has tons of testing sitting underneath of it. More testing than you. So with that being said, that made your product completely obsolete. Because you can sit back and tell the customer at the end of the day, well, you know, we're saving you hundreds. We're saving this, that, and the other. Actually, you're spending more money to fix your screen because it doesn't work. And if you sit there and say at the end of the day and try to badmouth my company today, well, you know the results of that was going to add up too. You're going to end up losing your business because we're going to sue you for making a statement you can't back up in court. It's slander. So you got that to worry about at the end of the day. So you can't say anything about us because that's going to get you in trouble. So what are you going to do? You're going to go out of business like this guy did. He went out of business because he did so much dirt in this company trying to stay afloat, trying to keep up to everybody else. Without doing testing, his business collapsed. This is what happens when you don't do testing. This is what happens when you don't work hard at your business. This is what happens. Business caved in. The other guy, his site is hit a dead site. For a person who's supposed to be a smart businessman, you're paying money monthly on a site that has no use to it. No use to it whatsoever. There's no valuable information on it because everything on the site's a lie. The video demonstrations are failures. And then the product itself couldn't even back itself up. Not even by the owner couldn't back it up. Heck, he canceled out states. They had people to keep people away from it. At one point, trolls were hitting this site, and they were using my name, and he was canceling out states. 10 states are missing off that list. So, again, that doesn't scream that, hey, your product is going to work 100% because I stand behind it. On top of that, the person who we accused of a product doesn't work, I have 7 cancellations on you, even on your samples, for my trophy. So, that doesn't exactly scream my product works. And on top of that, this company's going to court because, again, there's a whole lot of stuff on the site that's not real and it's actually broadcasting. The site's active. So that's what he's going to be hit with. He doesn't understand. He thinks today because I'm not selling anything. No, your site is active, which means if it's active and it's functioning and it's working, and you're out there selling stuff on the site that you know it's not legit or whatever, you can still get hit with that fraud charge. Which reminds me, I will file with the FBI with that one today. Let me get that one done too before we start this new year and get that one done with that too. Screen, put that on. I forgot about that one. Got to contact FBI about that one. Any fraudulent websites, you can report it to the FBI. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a problem there. So that's pretty much it right there. So meanwhile, while you guys are basically trying to stay above water without drowning, which you definitely will be drowning, trust me, in this whole process of it all, we're going to be out there. I'm going to be putting this technology up there in storefronts at 150 to 180 inches. Now, for those people at the end of the day, so will you be showing us off? No, why would we have to? That's the part I had to get in my head straight. That's what I had to understand for myself. Why are you even showing this off? Because, at the end of the day, we already had the publicity. We already had the money coming to the site on that technology. Why in the world would I need to come on YouTube to get recognition for the technology that we're already getting the publicity for? I got to come to YouTube to get publicity. I already have the publicity. It's right there in front of me. I got a bunch of people staring at a screen that's producing a fish tank through a storefront window. I don't need the publicity of YouTube for that. There you go. That's what I had to figure it out for myself. I thought about that when I was coming back from a place where I was looking at a storefront window for ad tech. And the Lord said, don't even bother telling them. What for? They said, don't put your pearls among swine. You ever heard that term before? Anyway, so he said, why are you telling them? You already have it. Who cares? You already have it. Like Fernando sitting in that dark apartment with that overpriced, expensive projector, which ain't going to have much longer if you're getting sued next week. But all that nonsense and him going on camera, that's what he does. Call myself, I'm just trying to help you out. Yeah, Jamie, you call yourself being the whistleblower of screen paints. Are you really kidding me on that one? You don't want me to go into some stuff you found out about your business, IRS-wise. But you really, at the end of the day, you want to call yourself, at the end of the day, you're supposed to be the whistleblower of screen paints. A person who just sits up, oh God, he is Trump. He is literally Trump 100%. I see it on so many levels. It's funny because my Mexican brothers be in there crying. They watch his videos like, yo, you put a podium in front of him, and that female blondie, he's Trump. He's literally Trump. Dye his hair, he's Trump. You'll be in there crying. It's your own brothers laughing at you. But anyway, go out there and do the dirt, and then come up on the podium and act like it never even happened. Oh no, we didn't go in. We didn't sell these people fake screen paint. We sold it a real deal. The greatest screen paint of all times. Better than any great screen paint ever made in the history of screen paints. That's you. You are Mexican Trump. It's the funniest thing I've heard in my entire life. Literally, the guy is running an illegal operation business, which again is already monitored, it's already been documented. Stealing. And you got a nerve to say people trust your honest opinion? If they do, they're all fools. But anyway, y'all got a bigger concern. You got a way bigger concern than that. I was talking about, like, does he have a PayPal account? He does have a PayPal account. Y'all addresses are in the PayPal account, and he has access to the account. If they transfer him out of the country, he still has access to the account. Just because he's in another country doesn't mean he still has access to the account. That means your addresses are in there. That is some crazy stuff. And he knows the password to it. He can give that password out to anybody. He'll have access to his PayPal account, get access to all those addresses. Y'all need to do something about that. And that's going to be a little problem on your own, but that's y'all nightmare at the end of the day. Y'all trusted him. I told y'all at the end of the day not to trust this guy. I told you the thief. We warned you guys on so many levels. Y'all got that tidbit to worry about. That's identity theft. They can take your address and do God knows what with it. This is why you do business with businesses you trust. Not business where people are basically stealing, robbing, cheating, and lying constantly on camera all day long. But he's got your addresses. That's a bigger nightmare y'all got. Let you move. And that's somebody else's problem. Other than that, if you had that same resident, you bought that house, you're in a lot of trouble. You do know your addresses are still connected to a PayPal account, right? Right? That's why we blocked the screen. because the addresses are still there. The credit card information and all that stuff is not there because they code all that stuff. Don't worry about that. But they got your address. And if this guy ends up in a facility, and you know what type of person he is, if he ends up in a facility, in a lockdown facility, sometimes you need a bargaining chip to get things that you want. That's how it works. You ain't getting money, a bargaining chip. And he has access to a lot of information. And one of them is a PayPal account that has a ton of 6 years of addresses embedded in that thing. There you go. Welcome to your new nightmare. New level of fear unlocked. You don't want that in that situation at all, period. And it's too late. I don't know how you guys are going to do that. It's, how hard it is to take down a PayPal account and petitions. You're going to need to take that thing down. It's going to be a bit of a headache. PayPal has a thing where you can't just go in and just call and take an account down because you could be a troll at the end of the day. You have to have certain specification information. You have to have court orders, all that stuff to show proof that this guy didn't have documents. This guy from the door basically committed a lot of crimes over here. I'm really, really scared because he has a freaking PayPal account and I bought stuff from him and my information's sitting in the account. And he has access to the password. That's going to take a lot to take down. You have to get a court order for that. And shut his account down. And I'm not touching that. That's not my problem at the end of the day. The only thing I have with him at the end of the day, he violated my company, he violated rules and stuff we had in the United States, he broke laws and stuff. That's all we're interested in. That other half is just y'all. But that's what you get for basically dealing with somebody at the end of the day that we told you from the door that you couldn't trust. I told you that. And all y'all got up in my face and said, well, hey, you don't know what you're talking about and crow this and crow that. Well, welcome to your new nightmare. Because if he goes over there at the end of the day, he's got access to those accounts. Your address. Well, that's not my problem. That's your problem. Yep, and I ain't touching it. I'm not going anywhere near that. I have no reason to go near this PayPal account. There's no point. For what? There's nothing in it. We're not bothered. That's your problem. I'm leaving that thing intact. That's for y'all. I'm taking care of that for you. Heck no. That's y'all problem at the end of the day, not mine. You got to figure it out. They transport him out of here, you're in trouble. When he gets deported, you're in a lot of trouble. He's got access to the account. You can sell off your addresses. And you can sit there and say at the end of the day, no, you already know. If you're from another country, you got people here in the States. And it's something you really should have thought about. This is why you can't do business with everybody. And you watch this guy dox people's addresses on his own website. That's how in danger your address is right now. What do you got to do? What you want to talk about today? Meow. 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 Mama meow. Mama meow. Mama meow. Mama meow. So I got to talk to my cat when he speaks. But anyway, yeah. You're in a lot of trouble right now. You better figure it out. And if you think you can call PayPal, they're not going to touch you. You can't do it that way. PayPal is going to ignore it. They're going to look at you as basically someone that don't like him. And so you got to get a court order for this. So if you don't get this done before they remove him out of the country, you're in a lot of trouble. Maybe you can call. No, that won't work either. You can't call PayPal and ask them to remove it because it's under his account, so you can't do that. Oh man, this is why you careful who you do business with. I explained to y'all at the end of the day. You don't see me doxing someone's address on my website? Are you kidding? That's storefront business. This guy was doxing people's addresses up there. He was cursing and carrying on his sites and stuff. Yeah, it's another reason why he had a problem with Wix, because the Wix got rid of him. They got tired of him. It's another problem he had. And we filed multiple complaints about him doxing people's addresses on Wix and using copyrights without permission. Gee whiz Louise. Guy committed copyright infringement on his own website. And on top of that, dox addresses. And that's the guy you trusted with your personal information? Well, new fear unlocked. You got yourself a dirty merchant. That's what you got. That's what I research. Anybody before I buy it from them. I'm curious. Let me look this up. What is the worst thing that could possibly happen? And an address identity theft incident. Let's see. Address identity theft. You're going to have to, then you're going to need, that could be just suspicious. Yeah, that's going to be really hard to do. That's going to be just suspicious. At the end of the day, when they say, well, how do you know he's going to? How does that? Yeah, that's going to be a problem. You're going to have a problem getting rid of that thing. You're going to have a real bad problem. Address identity theft. What if you did business with a dirty merchant and he has your address? Can you use it for identity theft? I do. You gather more information on you. Which means what he has in that PayPal account is valuable if he's in lockup. Because if he gives out that password to anybody in there, they can get access to it now. They can log into his account, all your information pops up. Email accounts, he's got access to that too. You emailed him, right? You probably told him stuff. Yeah, he's got that too. He's access to that too. YouTube channel, access to that too. But that PayPal, that's one of the most dangerous. But anyway, that's your problem. That's not mine. I got business to take care of. It's just something to give you something to think about in 2026. Once they transfer him out, you're going to have a problem right there. How do you know 100% that what's on that account or what's on that PayPal account is going to stay with him? How do you know that? You don't know that because this guy is actually unpredictable. So you don't know that. So that's what you're going to have to worry about. Now, if he sits there and says, well, I'm going to take you to court for slander, Jamie, you can't take me to court for jack at the end of the day. You're in a lot of trouble. You're in a lot of trouble. And for what we showed at the end of the day, the stuff that you've been doing, like you were so scared, you even contacted me and tried to make me believe you're an American citizen. That tells me from the door how scared you are. The track record is basically had a fake landlord contact us, fake lawyers contact us, and then this nonsense with the fake citizenship nonsense. It tells me from the door you got nothing left. You just reaching for the bottom of the barrel. So with that being said, you are going to be transported out of the country. That's going to happen. But your customers, the nightmare for them is he's leaving with all that information intact in its head. And wherever he lands at, he can sit there and say, hey, look, at the end of the day, I got a PayPal account and I got a lot of addresses on there for at least 5 years worth. It may come in handy for something. That's somebody that you don't want to know at the end of the day having your address where you're at. And the being able to take down a PayPal account is going to be brutal because their security is through the roof on those things. You're going to have multiple people to come against that account to shut it down. You got to show that he's an extremely high risk of your information getting leaked out to somebody you don't want to get leaked out to. Because the last thing I want is for, well, no one knows where my address is at. That's the Lord good thing about my life today. And my sister's moving. She just bought a house. So she's out. So, yeah, there's that. But other than that, at the end of the day, yeah, your addresses are out there. Now, when I get ready to shut down and I get ready to retire, I'm eliminating my PayPal account. It's gone, which means any access to it, it's gone. I got somebody coming in to wipe that clean on my end. I'm not trusting myself. I'm not going to do anything. But, people get old, things happen. You forget stuff, I'm not a young spring chicken anymore. I'm 57 years old. Yeah, my mind may slip somewhere. So make sure that doesn't happen. I got someone going to wipe my account. All information, all that's gone. I don't want nothing there at all, period. Leave it at that. I'm a big fan about basically security protocols. I'm working PCs. I'm always about security protocol. Even when I put their stuff up, I block their stuff. I block their addresses and all that stuff. Even when people at the end of the day they're exposing for doing dumb stuff, I block their stuff out. Because you shouldn't know their address. It's none of your business. That's between me and that person at the end of the day. Unless they have a business that has an LLC and it's public domain and everybody can see it, then no problem. You sure, because it's right there. You can find it anyway. If I block it off, you can still see it. But if that person at the end of the day doesn't have their information out there, it's none of your business. Now, Williams put it on a postcard. Literally put it on a postcard, his address. And put his room number down, his apartment number, right there. So guess what? Boom, right there. On a piece of card that you were committing a crime on. So, your information went out. And people know where you're at now. But as for the other people, McAfee or Rogers and all of them, no, you don't need to know where they're at. We know where they're at. They don't have their business out there like that. So since we found out where they're at, it's nobody's business between me, the lawyers, and police officers, and whoever else is involved. That's the only people involved in their information. That's it. So with that being said, yeah, your addresses are out in the open now. So I advise you to just buy a new house and move, which is kind of hard to do in this economy right now. Or, I don't even know what to tell you. You're going to have to, I don't even know how you would even take one of those things down. Like I said, PayPal account's not an easy account to take down. You're going to have to take this guy to court. And the problem you may have is that if you try to take him to court, chances are they're going to deport him even faster. Which means, that's going to be a bit of a headache. You guys got a ticking time bomb waiting for y'all. You take him to court, they're going to find out he's not documented. Oh, we got 4 reports on him. It's going to come up. That comes up, they're going to override whatever nonsense you need to do at the end of the day, and they're going to take him out. So you got no way to protect this nonsense. Good luck. You're going to need it. I'm telling you, definitely need it. And for those that say, what about your address? My address is, you don't have my new address. It has my old addresses on there. I moved. And I got another place at the end of the day that undetected. And the reason why I got it undetected because we had problems with people stalking us. That's easy to do when you can show proof that you're being stalked. Your address undetected. But anyway, that being said, yeah, good luck on all that nightmare nonsense. At the end of the day, is what you get at the end of the day for doing business, supporting somebody who's a thief. So then, I'm going to go to the storefront. I'm going to check out the walls. I got to go do a picture, size my wall, my screens up. I saw one wall. We could do the whole wall. I'll bring in a 235.1 or 235.1 display up that sucker. Because, man, they got the roof for it. Yeah, because then we got to pay up to $200 for our projectors. But they're basically paying for the whole kit. They're paying for the projector and they're paying for the screen. So that screen right there, the whole set, we got to print us $1,000 plus the projector. We can set the whole thing up, hook it up. AdTech's going to be everywhere. Not AdTech, but Apex is going to be in there. The Apex game off. It's going to be in there. Man, that thing's going to look like a beast. The guy first came and saw the screen. He's like, whoa, it's a big freaking screen. And we fired that thing. He's like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. The thing is beautiful. All you little bitter haters out there on this channel talking about, oh, it don't work, it don't work. We couldn't care less about that. I'm making $1,000 this week. I couldn't care less. $1,000 in 20 minutes. I couldn't care less about your little demonstrations. That stuff don't do anything to us at all, period. We still make money. How are we in a little apartment screaming and rant about our screen paint? And that stuff is popping up. We got video demonstrations all over. We got flashed all over Facebook. We're everywhere with this stuff. Got customers who have this technology, and then we're going to be in storefront properties with it. So you mean a person's going to drop down $1,000 today for that technology, for that setup? It's going to care about your little demonstration in your little apartment. When they came in here and saw this demonstration with their own eyes, they couldn't care less. They already know you're a troll at the end of the day. Only thing you proved on your channel is that you're jealous of my work, and that's all you got left. You lost your business. You're running a counterfeiting business. You're going to be deported soon. You're going to jail for a very long time. You're never getting out of that situation to begin with. That's it. Me, on the other hand, I'm about to make a couple $1,000s this weekend on this technology right here, the one you slanted and said it didn't work. And on top of that, I'm about to put this screen. It's gonna make me $8,000. For one of the setups we got to do is a big screen. The guy wants to put in $8 grand. I mean, $8 grand. Can you imagine that? $8,000 in less than probably about a half an hour it takes us to put that technology in. $8 grand. Do you know how many stores that sit in that area right there? There's about 80 stores. 80 stores at $8,000 a pop is what I'm going to bring in. That's a good tidbit right there. And you're sitting there complaining about some nonsense in the day that they don't even care about. Well, good luck with that. I'm going to enjoy our new technology. Now we're doing it offline now too on top of that. Oh, by the way, we are online and offline. I got some amazing customers. They got to contact me from time to time. Say, come on, man, you know better than that. And what about us? We got to get our hands on this screen too. I mean, come on. I'm looking forward to being watching TV outside at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Come on, Ken, you know better than that. I'm like, yeah, I know better than that. I got you. That's why I said we got 3 screens coming up for the customers. So we got a black one, we got the fluorescent one, which is something new. I'll be showing it off on my PC pretty soon. And we have the clear. Okay, my buddy was looking forward to putting it in this pool. You got a wraparound pool. You want to put the screen so it comes out. You got the projector behind you with the all black one. That's what he wants. So I'm doing a pool for this, man. Come on, get it together, man. The people out here want to buy from you. Don't worry about them wackadoos. They jealous. I understand. You're jealous. And we got a demonstration. We got an invisible screen to show up pretty soon on that invisible technology, that super invisible technology. You can't even see this stuff. It's crazy. All right. Well, with that being said, you know what I'm saying about the screen? No. Cell phones can't read these screens. These screens are super ultra bright. There you go. Cell phone has an issue with the screen. It can't read. Screens are bright. What do you expect for a screen that reads in sunlight? Yeah. All right, let me see. I'm going to have to get this done today. I got things I got to do, people. Things I got to do. I got to be out the door. I got to go take a picture of these walls, these giant walls. I'm going to put this technology in. You know the beautiful thing about it is, people, that when we go into these environments, they're super bright. Super bright in there. Well, we operating here at 24,000 for 1 year. So, with that being said, that'll be easy for us. And like, we get any shiny lights in here for the projection set? Like, oh, heck no. We can have those lights on too. Why those lights out? Put them all on. Do we have all the lights on in here? Okay, you can see all the lights on. It'll look great once we calibrate it. Calibrating jack. That's going to be the fastest setup ever. Go in there, boop, 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 spray the wall, tape it off, peel off the tape on the wall, be done with it. Basically, set the projector, connect it up to the ceiling, line it with the screen, out. That's it. Come in there. Now I'm doing videos, but the videos ain't for YouTube. The videos are from my cell phone. So when I go to other sites, I can say, or other stores, yeah, we just did a screen over here, we did a screen over here. That's all that's for. So those videos will never end up on YouTube. That's just strictly from my phone. So when I go to other sites or other places or storefronts, I can show them the business we've done. Unless they're so far from that store where they're at, we can show what we've done. They can take a trip down there later on and check it out. That's for offline venue only. Yes. Oh, newsflash. I don't know what's going on in your state, but I know in the state of Pennsylvania, if you got a website yet, that have a business license, you may want to look into that and get one real quick, because you have to have them. It used to be that way at one point. It used to be at one point that you didn't have to have a business license because it was the e-commerce. But you have to have business licenses now. I'm about to apply for another one. Actually, I got to apply for a couple of them. Got a couple of business licenses I need. I got the t-shirt. We're going to be doing pretty soon. Set up. I can't tell you that one at the end of the day because that's all secret. And we got some other stuff we're going to be working on pretty soon too. Kapow! All right. With that being said, I'm worth past my time here. What time we got right now? Oh, it's like 7:58. I keep forgetting we coming here this early. Let me see. Still got time to kill. I'm going to be here chatting about this. All right, do a couple of video demonstrations on the ultra short throw. Let me see. Oh, look at him. He's so cute. Yeah, look at him. Yeah. Anyway, so do a couple of videos on it. Or looking at me like, what? What do you see from his point of view? Talking about, this guy's talking with yeah. Anyway, we're going to do some challenges for the customers. These are customer challenges. And if you want, if you don't have, you sell gray paint, or whatever you sell them today, it's a challenge. It's simple and plain. All you got to do is take your ultra short throw projector, turn your lights on, and show a star fill demonstration. Make sure whatever contrast you have on your machine is on. See exactly how much you're actually getting from that screen. Your projector is perfectly fine. Do not blame it on the projector. We got projectors in here that are 4,000 to 1 contrast. That's it. Way lower than what you have at $60, 720p. So if we can read that contrast level, you definitely should be reading that contrast level. So it's not your projector, it's your screen. Just remember that. They want to keep telling you over and over again. You come to them like, well, you got to calibrate. No, 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 no. You don't have to calibrate. That's bullcrap. Now, what all those colors your machine has, that's a lie. And if they sit there and tell you, well, you have to get a projector with an inkier contrast, liar! You don't have to. We do it at 4,000 to 1. I got another projector coming in. I got a Sharp and I got a Epson. The Sharp I got for like $37. Ooh, that thing is really low. The contrast on there is 500 to 1. That's a beautiful beacon machine. 5,000 to 1. You know, it's funny. Most people get excited when their contrast is like 3 million, 4 million. I'm the only one that gets excited. Oh my goodness, wait a minute. It's 600 by 800. It's 720p. And the contrast is 5,000 to 1. Sold. No HDMI ports? Sold! Yeah, I'll buy that stuff in there. I like them old projectors. I mean, them things look incredible. But anyway, yeah, this is for customers. These videos for customers only. I'm going to put a link at the bottom. The exact star fill we use in our demonstrations, in case you can't find it. And I want you to take that. I want you to turn all your lights on. Don't forget to name the company at the end of the day who you bought it from, because they should get full credit for you not being to see a star fill at 100% black on a projector you just spent a ton of money for. Make sure it's out there. They got to know. And you go out and you show that screen in a fully lit environment, which it should be, because it's an ultra short though. You're sitting right on top of the screen. I don't know why you should have that problem. And show me the star fill at 100% black. Because I got a bunch of people who have gray screens and they're going to show it off. So it's a challenge. It's a little challenge right there. Star fill screen. What do you call it? A star fill challenge. That's what we call it. The star fill challenge. The contrast challenge. Show me at the end of the day. Because there's no excuses. There's no excuse when you have an ultra short throw. Now, if you have a long throw, the excuse is that you have a distance throw to travel through from A to B. And you figure if you're at 1,000 lumens and you're traveling across a room and the lighting in the environment pretty much takes out a meter system, a lux meter system, then your lumen count is going to be insane, which I like to work in anyway. But I got to bring out the old projector and throw it back there and do a demonstration from back there. All right, let's go play with that today too. Might as well. We got one here somewhere, 1,000 lumens. We're running that too. Anyway, so you should be able to do that with no problem whatsoever. Now, ultra short throw is a different type of projector. It sits right on top of the screen, like this one sits. See, it sits right on top of the screen. So with that thing sitting on top of the screen, you should easily be able to pick up an image at a foot at a projector at 3,000, even at 2,000, even at 1,000, you should be able to pick up. You're a foot away from your screen. So you don't have the distance throw problem at all, period. Which means you have a more concentrated image that's striking the screen because it didn't deteriorate from the distance throw. So it's no excuse why a machine of that caliber can't pick up a 100% black level. You know why you're in the dark with that machine? Because if you turn the lights on, your screen deteriorates. That's why you got to turn around and put it in the dark, which is messed up because that projector that you bought at the end of the day is designed to replace a TV. That's what's messed up about the ultra short throws. And I see that every single one of these demonstrations I saw, oh my goodness, I swear this is the reason why I can't deal with these I couldn't deal with these shows, because I'd be snapping on people left and right. I'd be like the Judge Ramsey of projection screens. Like, what the freak are you doing? Why is it sitting in the dark? It's freaking an ultra short throw projector. I literally saw a demonstration where the room was well lit at one point. And they were installing all these little ultra short throws in it with screens. Then all the lights went on. They had little white lights in the corners where it's go. That is pathetic. That's absolutely pathetic. I need to get myself a medallion with a floodlight on the front of it. Just walk into people's booths, go, BAM! Light your area up. That is pathetic. Lights around the corner, they make it look like the area is well lit and you got it in the dark. Are you kidding me? What that dumb nonsense. Certified screens with that dumb nonsense. Ugh. All right, let's start these demonstrations. We're going to flood. You know what we do when we flood. Challenge for customers. Don't forget to put the projector. Don't forget to put the company up. They should get full credit because we want to take them to court anyway. Y'all specification sheets better be straight. And the reason why we're taking it to court, on top of it, you don't pull black. Stop saying it at the end of the day. Come on, you gonna say you pull the same thing I pull? No, you're infringing on my freaking technology at the end of the day. We pull black technology. You don't. So I got to take you to court for that. Unless you're going to change your specification sheets and tell the truth. No way in the world you're going to say you compare yourself to me. Hey, gray screen, going to compare yourself to me? And say you pulled the same black level? Oh, no, I'm taking it to court. That's infringing on my technology at the end of the day. I'm taking it to court for that. Heck no. Tell the truth, what your stuff really does. And please, I got to tell you on this one, please do not make the biggest mistake of your life by saying that black technology sitting over there comes up darker than your white levels. Because if that thing, when you see these things look like at 300 lumens, all we need is 300 lumens, and we could blend into your screen. It will be the biggest embarrassment of your life. And it's going to cost you so much money for making that mistake. You may lose your company over this one. So I would advise you, do not be foolish and think at the end of the day that we're the same as other black screens. You will find yourself extremely embarrassed. I specialize in white level demonstrations. AG47 technology. The ability to be able to pull a high, advanced white level. I can literally pull a snowstorm on this side of the screen and pull in the abyss on this side. I can change colors at perfect color balance and pull white levels anywhere I want on any section, even on a ceiling. I can make it snow. I've done demonstrations at 250 inches at 27 feet back on a projector that I paid for under what, $270 for? The white levels were literally so high on that 8 technology, we literally made the grass look like it had snow on it. This is what you're dealing with, a person who specializes in white light technology. So please, challenge me. I like this kind of stuff in the day. It excites me. Now, you hear a person talk like that on camera, that's not the person you want to walk into a courtroom. Oh my goodness, I freaking love this. I can never get this up. I love it too much. I know it's funny. It's not the money that gets me. It's not. It's the challenge. It's the challenge of conquering other screens. That's the fun for me. People think, oh, no, it's not the money. It's not. It's the challenge of conquer. That's what the challenge is. Taking down other technology. Showing that we are more superior. We are better. That's the part I freaking love the most. Maybe, it could be a possibility. You get a screen that can beat the crap, and that's the best part. To find that screen that literally takes out my technology, oh my goodness, I can only dream about that one. One day, someone will beat us, and that'll be nice. I would freaking love that in the day. Because you know why? That's competition for me. That's why. It's competition. That means that's somebody's going to make me fight even harder, work even harder to develop better technology, and that is going to basically peak my technology to higher levels. That's why I need competition. We don't have any competition. We're rolling over everybody. Then what's the point? We get bored with the whole thing. Like, You ever watch Conan? You ever seen the end where it shows him sitting on top of his throne with all these trophies around him, and he's bored? He's just sitting there bored. He's conquered everything. He's bored. He's just sitting there in the darkness, just bored. Like, there's nothing left. There's nothing left. The challenge was basically conquer one after the next, He's just sitting there. He's conquered everything. But imagine if an opponent popped up and said, hey, we can take him. And he looks much more advanced than him. He's going to run into battle. Because now he's a challenge. And it's a possibility he could lose this challenge, which means he'll have to find something within himself that he didn't even know even exist. Oh, yes. New level unlocked. There you go. See, that's how we see challenges for screens. Same way. But you guys, at the end of the day, you cut corners, you fake this, you fake that, whatever. Y'all do this phony demonstrations and stuff, and you coast this freaking gravy train. And then you don't do any testing. It's kind of like the equivalents of basically having body armor made out of notebook paper. We'll go right through you with no problem whatsoever, and you won't get back up when we pass by you. You literally have notebook paper body armor. That's what you have. You're just another trophy on the shelf. That's pretty much what you become. But anyway, enough about this. I gotta go pick up my medieval mug. I can go back in the medieval world pretty soon. We'll be back on the Mac. Gotta go back to the medieval world. We're building a new PC. What did we decide? Oh yeah, we decided we're gonna upgrade with the graphics card. We get the 5050 RTX with that. That's what we're gonna get. We're gonna overclock that sucker too. The 5050 RTX. Gonna pick it up and overclock it. And let's see, my system does DDR4, so I'm gonna do 64 gigabytes of DDR4 on my system. I'm gonna max everything out on that board. All right, people, we have much to do. I still have until 9 o'clock before I can leave this layup at the end of the day. But until then, we will do a couple of demonstrations on basically for the customers to challenge them. Show me at the end of the day. You can do it yourself behind doors. You don't got to record if it's not to you. But at least at the end of the day, try it. See what's going on, why your screen's not giving you 100% contrast. Because you paid all this money for a projector, and this projector has a whopping high contrast level on it, and you're still picking up gray on your screen, that's not your projector's fault. That is clearly your screen's problem. Because my projector's way cheaper than yours at the end of the day. At 4001 720p, it's not even a 1080p unit, and I can still pick up contrast better than your whole setup. Why? Because we have a black screen, that's why. You change over to our black technology, you'll see the advancements of what you're missing in your projection setup. And this time when you watch actual black, you will actually watch actual black. Alright, people, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. With all that and whatnot, I'm going to retire and go over here and finish work on it. Or not retire, work on the screen for a little bit. Do some demonstrations. I'm going to set that up right now. Yeah. Potato, 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 potato. I'm going to make some mashed potatoes. Oh man, already started, man. We already got orders coming in already. Alright, cookie dokie. We'll get to that in a few. I gotta be on site, I gotta do some stuff. I gotta get this done. Alright, let me get these videos put up on a serious side, get these videos put up, and I gotta be on site and look at these walls. Put these screens in. I'm building these screens, by the way. We're building them all out of wood. Set them up for that technology. Build them all out of wood, throw the fabric in, pull out the blaster, spray it in, hang it up like we did the screens that we did over the other place. We put a fish tank through a window. Same thing. Spray it all in, lock it up on the wall, and you're done. I might do this with an acoustic material. Yeah, you can do it with acoustic, because I can do the speakers behind it. They want speakers on it, so I have to wire the speakers behind the back of it, and then run that to the side of the baseboard, hide all that, and run it right up to the top where the projector's going to be at. So got to do that installment right there. All right, people. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for your time. Chippy, chippy, cho, cho, cho. And I got to go. I like that one, Taco. Chippy, chippy, cho. I got to go. Anyway, of course, we thank our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for blessing us with amazing technology. Because if it wasn't for Him, none of this would ever be possible. Of course, thank you, Jesus. Because again, without Him, it wouldn't be possible. So, as I always say, seek God and be blessed. Got to go.